Alright, and we are here now live again once more with myself, Jeremy Powers, taking a look at the Sega Genesis Mini 2, this little micro console that I managed to pick up. Knocking everything over as I get it. This little guy, haven't turned it on yet. This is the first time I've opened it, and if you're kind of curious, compared to the Genesis Mini 1, this is how it looks. So, it's a good little bit smaller. I mean, not drastically so. It's not quite as small as I was worried it would be, but I'm kind of curious because this one's a little bit more powerful just for the fact it has Sega CD games on it, so probably the same emulation, to be honest with you, but they've at least added more systems. But I wanted to go ahead and, you know, jump in here, take a look at this, and see what we got. So I'll pull up the chat here so I can talk to everybody. Yay! Oh, I guess I should actually update what I'm playing. Smart on that one. Let me do that really quick. Sega Genesis Mini 2 first play. Come chat, ask questions, and hang out as I explore the Sega Genesis Mini 2 for the first time. I'm just going to add that in there, why not? I don't think they're going to have just a Genesis in general, so let's just put, let's take a look. We got the box here. First game listed as Afterburner 2, but I think we'll put Sonic CD, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be looking at Sonic CD anyways at some point. So we'll start with that. Done. All right, that is updated a little bit better. So let's go ahead and check this out. Get Twitter open as well in case I talk to anybody. Here we go. Doesn't have a light, for one thing, I've just noticed. There's no way to actually tell if it's powering on. That's a bit concerning. I'm kind of wondering. Oh, there we go. So we've got English, because that's all I can speak. We've got a little bit of music. Alright, Afterburner 2, Alien Soldier, Atomic Runner, Bonanza Brothers, Clay Fighter, Echo the Dolphins, our first Sega CD game that we see here. Deadly Pie. Well, both Echoes are here. That's kind of cool. No, I won't put it in French. No, because I don't know any French. Fatal Fury 2, that's kind of interesting. One nice thing about this, it does come with a 6-button controller, which the old Genesis Mini, at least in the United States, only came with a 3-button. It was nice, but it sucked to play Street Fighter with, because you had to hit start to switch between kicks and punches, which is just dumb. This one starts off with a 6-button, and the controllers are cross-compatible, so I can use a 3-button in order to play 2-player on this, or vice versa. But the cool thing is my Sega Mini arcade machine that I have, the controller that came with that is apparently also compatible with this. So that would probably be the better option for multiple. Alright. Oh god, Night Trap. Outrunner. Oh, Outrun's pretty fun. Fantasy Star would take a little while. Populous, did not expect that to be on here. Hey, Rise Star. It's a good platformer. Shadow Dancer, Shining Force CD, a lot of particular amount of RPGs. Hey, Sylphie, that's a shooter. Splatterhouse 2, Space Harrier, Sonic 3D Blast, Super Street Fighter 2. So we've got the other version of that on here. Hey, Virtual Racing. That's the one that actually needed the special cartridge. It's their answer to the FX chip, but they only ever used it on a single game. But since I did put this as being a Sonic CD, let's start with Sonic CD. Cool thing also, the 6-button controller has the mode button, which this still functions as mode, but also can function as the menu to get around in the system. And it does work on the old Genesis as well, I found out. So I have to make sure I don't hit that. Crap, what is... No, I'm not to go over there. Oh, we need to check one more thing first. Settings. So we need to go through this. No, I don't want to read it. I'm just going to play. I want to make sure, yeah, we're on 4x3. I don't like doing stretch. Stretch is for desperate people. Sega World. Yeah, we'll keep the speakers, why not? Oh, I can make it look like an old TV. That'd be boring. Oh god, the older Genesis systems. I think we'll stick with the Sega World. We're gonna live dangerously and just play. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I know I'm a nerd. Alright. I'm curious if this still is the opening, because it had that really cool animation with the music. Still in stereo sound, because you hear it jump left to right. Unless I have my headphones on backwards again, because that has been something I do. In that case, it'd be right to left. I don't know. It looks about the same. Blocky as it usually did. I'm going to give it a minute. I want to see if it actually has that opening where it pops up with the animation. Of course, no, I used to watch that on the other one. Probably not in here. Let's just press start and play. Oh, it actually has RAM data. I wonder if you can actually access that. Like, does it have a virtual Sega CD RAM card? It does. Interesting. I'm going to have to take a look at that and see if it actually builds up memory and how that's handled. Because I did manage to find one of the Sega CD cartridges, which is like a Genesis RAM memory cartridge. You have to excuse my ability to play Sonic because I suck at it. Oh. Nice little shift in perspective there. Yep, we go. I guess now I just have to go back and get a certain speed held up to travel through time. I haven't played this in forever. I actually played it more on GameCube than I ever did a Sega CD, ironically enough. Because it was on the Sega Gems collection, I believe. I did listen to the music a lot on this game, though. If I die stupid deaths, we're just going to laugh at me about that. Oh, speaking of which, I thought I was being framed with a bunch of spike there. Okay, good on it. Cool. Wow, the controls are weird on this. Like I said, bad at Sonic games. I was better at Sonic Generations than anything. That game was just fun to me. Back off, mosquito guy. Oh, okay, I guess I'm going back this way. I hit the sign. Okay. So it still plays well. I just am bad at it. So like I said, I can hit the mode button, which brings up the menu where I can have save states, reset the game, things like that as well, or just back right out of it. I have. I highly recommend it, but I have just not gained that skill. I was a Nintendo kid. Sega was like blasphemy to me. Because I had a cousin, we didn't get along very well. And so he got a Genesis and I had an NES, so all that did was just fuel that entire war back then. Because I had a personal stake in it, like, oh, I don't want the Genesis, that's what Brandon has. fast enough yet for time travel. Nope, I want the shields. Like, I had fun with Sonic Mania, but that's some of the newer ones. This still feels kind of stiff just because, you know, this was a Sega CD game, so... Ooh, that's why I gotta worry about hitting that. Oh, a little laggy. I hope my cousin's doing well. Like, it was... We were stupidly and aggravated with each other back then, but we were also both little kids. But I have not talked to him in a long time, actually. Ironically enough, I don't even know if he even still plays video games, for all I know he got out of it. We'll try another level or two of this, get through it, and then try another title if anybody has suggestions of which ones they want to see. Nope, I'm doing fast enough. Hey, do I have the drop spin? I do. Oh, boss fight. It's Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik, or whatever the hell they call him each game. Alright, little shit's got a laugh now. Dude, the Dreamcast was perfectly great. Like, that... I love that system. I don't know if he even got a Dreamcast. I think he was already out before even Dreamcast came out. Ah, I planted flowers. Go me. I know one thing, I'm missing all of the load times. I'm glad that wasn't an option in the menu, like simulate load times. You just sit there waiting and wondering for a while. Alright, so let's take this, make a save state. And now we'll go to the main menu. And let's see what we want to play next. Recently played. Let's move my camera so I can actually see this. So CDs first, number of players, genre, Z to A, A to Z. Camera back up there again. It's in the most inopportune place, but whatever. Yeah. Is it really their last system? I guess this is a copy of it. This is technically a system, but not, yeah, not like that. This does have new games in it, though. Fantasy Zone. First game in this iconic series is now on the Genesis Mega Drive with a brand new Easy mode. Explore 8 planets as Opa to save the galaxy. Defeat enemies, collect coins, and buy power-ups to enhance your ship. I'm a sucker for shooters. Let's try it. They have super easy. Interesting. Paid one player. This would be what they call a cute 'em up, which is an absolutely adorable shooter game. Oh, even your death is adorable. Okay, cool. You can't kill those things. The controller feels spongy. That's kind of weird. Well, it's not literally called a cute 'em up. That's just kind of what they were referred to with these more adorable style games. It's cute. That's just what it does. Big wings, turbine engine, laser beam, rocket engine, jet engine, wide beam, twin bombs, fire bombs, extra ship. Let's go with the big wings, because I don't know why. Yeah, laser beam. Oh. Too late, I went laser beam. Oh, good God. Okay. Yeah, this D-pad's very spongy. What makes you feel any better? I died. So there, I've learned my lesson. Let's reset, and we'll go back to buy the wide beam. I think this is one of the games that was not originally on the Genesis. They modified an arcade ROM to be on here. But, I mean, it runs great. Ah, god damn it. Yeah, it is instant karma. I get that. It's kind of annoying you can only shoot forward and back. Like, there's no other things you can do. Alright. Wide beam. Are you happy now? Let me get my big wings for whatever the hell reason they had. Don't have enough for anything else, I guess for... No, I'm gonna do twin bombs. Why not? One shot, single bomb. There we go. Jesus. That is a very wide beam. Feels almost overpowered. Oh, you only keep it for so long. That sucks. I was hoping you just get to keep it. So the bottom shows you where I'm at with all the stuff I have to kill, I guess. Oh yeah, no, this thing is really annoying. I forgot how touchy these things could be. Alright, now that I've embarrassed myself, let's try a different one. Yeah, I know. Golden Axe, that's a good hack and slash. Oh, it's Golden Axe 2, that's different. Ooh, Final Fight CD. Ironically, actually... had to have that sitting here. I've been working on recording all video game music, like musical CDs that I have, as well as taking like Sega CDs, Saturn, PlayStation, those discs, putting them in and recording the soundtracks and audio that's on them. And there's entire soundtracks that are there. And this is one of the ones I got. It's actually got some really good music on it. But I ended up making that available through our Discord, so people that are on there can go and download or listen to all that music that's there. It's like well over almost 100 CDs at this point, I think. Let's see how this turns out. I've always...
a well-known crime capital, has been ruled by violence and death for many years.
So melodramatic.
A fact which the newly elected mayor and former Street Fighter Mike Haggard plans to change.
Mike Haggard?
At the center of the problem is the huge gang known as Mad Gear. Mad Gear controls all of the major criminal activity in the city.
Oh, that's some 80s. That's some 80s and 90s shit right there.
When they learned of Haggard's plans, they took immediate action to bring this new mayor under their control.
Oh my god, what's the
sometime in 1992.
1989 Capcom's the original, but they're talking about
Hello,
1992.
Mike Hager here.
Hee hee hee, Mr. Hager. So
Mr.
pleased to
Hager.
make your acquaintance. I believe you know.
Okay, let's just skip this and get to the game. Now, does this have all the fighters? Guy, Cody, and Hager. Who should I be? So it does have all three of them. I know Hagar is the wrestler, so you see all the big special, like spinning wrestle moves and stuff. Cody was a brawler, and Guy is supposed to be like the kung fu dude. Let's just punch people as Cody. Punch. That's also a jump. So it's pretty much just a punch. Okay. Why are you so slow at punching people? I want so bad for the A button to be the punch button, but it's not. Which is kind of confusing me. Well, they let them just back away. Telephone booth medicine. I guess the other three buttons don't do anything. This is just a strictly ABC game. Which is weird. I don't know. I want to see about the remapping. Come on. Thanks for grab and throw. Trash can burger. Hit it too much, too fast, and then doing that. Oh, going down the subway. Warning for flashing lights. Alright, let's see if it will let me change anything here. Save that to that. Go back to the main menu, see if it'll let me change it. Click open, hold for 1 second, hold for 3, off, hold start. Oh, gotcha. So that way I can change the mode so they don't actually reset it. That sucks. Now what is this? Oh, it's the... Oh, there. Now you can scan this QR code and take a look at the instruction manuals. 1993, that's when it came out, okay. Actually, real quick, let me see if it gives the option here. You think with a CD they could actually have the Sega? I get lower, the cartridge could do it. Option menu. Oh, there we go. Attack, jump, attack. That makes more sense. Background music on. Music, yes. Exit. Let's try that again now that it actually will let me punch for the correct one. Let's try Guy this time. That guy. He looks much more kung fu. So does that spin kick. Just a back punch. Oh yeah, so much more natural to be doing this with the A button. Jump kick. Of course, your special move takes away health. That's like definitely an old school thing. I guess new ones still do that, but now they let you charge it up or do other stuff. I mean, these things, you gotta remember they were all built to just pretty much eat your quarters the entire time. Excellent. Make him jump back so they can do the walk animation down there. It's gotta be moving. Doing a little better with this guy. I'll say that. The bar. Oh, another bar. Okay, it makes me get rid of it. That was fast. Tire meat. Mmm. Weird delivery to have that come out. Ah, dude. It's 2P. Oh, it's Thrasher. That's 2P. Thrasher is my problem here. I mean, it still doesn't look bad. You can still tell the Genesis had a lack of color options in the Super Nintendo. But I mean, this is not a bad looking game. Really, dude? Gonna chill out, calling people. That guy's arm animation is super weird. Well, I got him down to at least a bar showing up. Is that early version of poison? Punch him and find out. Nope, Roxy. Ah, people throwing fireworks. Damn, those things take a lot of life. Alright, Thrasher's dead. No blood? Alright. So we got a classic beat 'em up in here. That's good. Oh, I thought it locked up for a second. Alright. Let's put that over the other one. Oh, you gotta hold it for a second now. Trying to prevent myself from just clicking the button like I did earlier. Alright, let's try a different game. See what else we got on here. RPGs just take too long to get into, I think. Fatal Fury 2 is an actual fighting game. Should we do Fatal Fury 2 or Street Fighter? No, I don't think it has Call of Duty. It does have Sewer Shark, though. Sewer Shark is definitely unique. Sylphid, Ranger X, Super Locomotive, which I heard was a horrible puzzle game. Hey, Streets of Rage 3, which in the Japanese version is Bare Knuckle, which I've heard is really good. But I guess you have to change the language over to, let me see here if it'll let me do it. Yeah, I guess I have to actually change the system language to Japanese in order to get the Japanese games. Which seems like it should just be an option. Yuzo Kashiro's music, which is really good. Axel, Blaze, Skate, what a name. And Zan. Old man Zan. God, that is a ripped old dude. Terrifying. Can't get over Skate. This is like Lucio, the younger years. It's Lucio Jr. Let's try Axel. Oh, we got counting down. Those amazing graphics. I love how they just blur part of the face to animate it. I guess to go between scenes. Last two don't even change their face. They're just like, whatever. Crap, did I just use a special? I did. Okay, so that's new. Once again, it's AB. Oh no, okay, it's a supercharged attack. You build up over time. That's kind of neat. I've always heard really good things about the Streets of Rage series. I know my friend Arthur was always a big fan of them. They know right when to back up. They're like, oh, no, I am not doing that. Come on. Sorry, lady. Oh, cool. You can do a slide run. I think I like the mechanics of this one a lot better than the other one. Oh, that was nice. Ow, ow, headbutt. Now I'm just kind of curious what the kid does. See you later, man. Probably go through a few more games here. I got a knife! Oh, okay, I can throw the knife. Got it. I think the guy would have given up when he had a knife stuck in him. Oh, the guy's not going. Why that doesn't hurt me when I do it? Something's got a gun. Oh, you guys suck. It's not really fair to shoot me. McLeod? Oh, yeah, the cloud, hiding in the clouds. Connor McLeod. Walk back and walk out again. Why is there always like a really big fat dude in these things? Katana. Alright. That does not seem fair. No Streets of Rage, no Streets of Fairness. And now he shoots fire. That's different. They just really fastball special me. He did! Picks him up. And he rolls. Alright, Dwight. Oh god. Hurt me, okay. Why does this look like a spot? Okay. That could look like we're a boss fight come in. I got an apple. Coming on a boat. Come on up. Oh, what the hell? That was interesting. Nope. No shooters. Gotta see ya. I never get anybody in the actual line of an attack, it seems. So far, this is not a bad little system. I mean, I don't know these games well enough to tell if there's a bit of lag. I'm sure there's some. There's probably, I know that I've heard some about the audio delays and things. I haven't noticed too much. Once again, it's not like slavish dedication to these games that I know of them, so. Because once again, I was not the Genesis one, my cousin was. It's kind of cool that I can get thrown and actually hurt the guy still. Once again, cannot aim that thing to save my life. Come on, Garcia. Oh, damn, that was a new one. Alright, it's gonna be, yep. Tire chicken! They finally landed it. The move is almost kind of cheesy, but it works well. But God, how many boats do these guys have? Alright, so I guess that does take some health off me when I do that. So I gotta be careful with that one. Boom! Slam to the ground, hit him with a bare knuckle. Oh, it's Mr. Bond. You come here to die, Mr. Bond. Alright, I think we'll call it on that one. Go to another game, see what else we got here. Make another save. So we've messed with a couple shooters, one platformer, 2 beat-em-ups. Let's try racing. Let's see what virtual racing looks like on here. Look at those flashy polygonal items, objects. Now, last time I played this, they re-released a new version for the Nintendo Switch and some of the other systems that can run like 8 screens at one time, running at 60 frames, with, you know, smoother shading and everything. So it's gonna be kind of fun to go back and play this on older style hardware. Let's just do a free run. Gotta get used to this first. Let's do beginner setup. Let's do 5 laps. Automatic transmission. Press start. Hit start. Look at them graphics. Those B always gives me gas in these things. Oh, changing camera angles. Ooh. So this is supposed to be the answer to Star Fox, huh? Easy looking. I'll have to go back and play the Switch version again sometime, but that was much different. Ooh. Still running surprisingly well. I mean, remember this is a 16-bit system running a full 3D racetrack, cars, and all that fun stuff. With, I mean, absolute garbage draw distance, but it was doing it. Hit to see that. Oh god, that is a view right there. That is showing severe limits of what this can do. But you're not showing a lot, actually. Oh, I need to get better at this. It's hard to judge the turns. Okay, lap 3. I mean, I gotta admit, I'm getting used to this. Like, at the time, this would have been absolutely mind-blowing for how good it is. Let's see if I can do a lap in first-person mode. I mean, is it janky? Yes, but it's playable-ish. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at just jumbles of colors and shapes randomly thrown out there, but... This is definitely faster than Stunt Race FX, I'll give them that. Stunt Race FX is much more detailed in its characters and stuff, but does not run this quickly. So it's a trade-off for the speed. You get, you know, the limited graphics and stuff. Once again, goes back to the Genesis color palette as well. So there's a lot of pixelated shaders. Probably out of that. Go back to that camera. It's kind of my preferred one. So we got a hard right coming up. Coming up with another right. Slow down. Slight right, slight left. Hard right to a major turn. With a hard left to a major turn. And a hard right. And then floor it in for the finish. I mean, got better my last track at least. I can only imagine how the high-end ones are. Alright, we'll save that again. And there's 4 save states for each game, just so you're aware. Oh, I want to go out, see the menu. Send another message out here real quick. Let everybody know exactly how bad I play these old games. Alright, let's send that tweet out for everybody. Of course, now under the new Elon Musk, no one probably sees it, but whatever. Alright, let's see what we want to do next. You know what? Let's just go ahead and get some Street Fighter 2 out of the way and see how it goes. We're still set up with a 6-button controller, so I can use that. The opening looks a lot better. I think this is always one of my favorite openings. Super Street Fighter 2! The new challenges. Gotta love the sound effect. Just feels so flat for what it should be in this game. Group. Options. Gonna go straight back to that, so let's try Super, I guess. Have to do my boy Ken.
India.
Oh god, the voice quality is horrible. India.
Round 1, fight. Hadouken. Hadouken.
Ooh.
Hadouken.
I do a fireball, but I'm not doing the dragon punch.
Fire. You win.
Okay, the elephants do move. I was kind of wondering for a second. I was like, man, they're not doing anything.
Round 2, fight.
Okay, dolphins should know don't do that. They're touchy. Wow, he is a throwing little bastard. It's been a long time since I played this one. Which, I mean, this is not the way you want to actually play Street Fighter. Hey, there we go. Got the Dragon Punch in. The D-pad's not bad. It still feels spongy. Of course, that might have been how the old one was. And I'm so spoiled and used to that tight D-pad on all the new controllers that everything feels squishy no matter what I do. Though compared to the Super Nintendo, even the old ones were much snappier than this. Because it didn't do the ring, it was point to point. DJ! Think a lot.
Hadouken! Hadouken!
Oh, that damn knee. Oh, shit, he punched me, alright.
You lose!
I definitely did lose.
Round 2, fight! Hadouken!
I'm the guy that can talk about games, but I'm not going to be the best at playing them all the time.
Hadouken!
Good God, I am not doing as good as I usually do. I'm having trouble getting the moves right now for some of these.
You lose!
Thanks, DJ. Appreciate that. Just public humiliation. I have orange blood. Alright.
And Hadouken!
That is some neon shit right there. My boy Fei Long. What's the answer?
Jamaica!
Jamaica.
Round 1, fight!
I mean, some of the music's not bad. It's a little different to get used to, but... Ooh, that was some... Come on. Alright, got one round in.
You win!
Dang.
Round 2, fight!
Why are we throwing this game so much? These moves. Oh, okay, got me on that one.
You lose! Round 3, fight!
Okay. Seriously, I was past him, he threw me from behind him. This is it's a local game, but you complaining about lag. Computer player lagged? Oh.
You lose!
Yes, I did. I lost very much. Let's try something else. I have no qualms making fun of myself on this. It's actually quite funny to me. Alright, let's see what's next. Star Mobile, don't know what that is. Try Rystar. 1995. This would have been either my late freshman year or early sophomore year of high school when this came out. Which is scary. In a far-off galaxy, an evil alien force is at work. It looks good. The evil tyrant, Greedy, has corrupted the planet's leaders and enslaved the populace. Even the legendary hero has... Okay, they're just going right by on that. Alright, cool. Rystar! Oh my god, that's some voice sample mess up right there. I think it said play with me? I don't know. I'm kind of worried. Once again, everything likes to be jump on the outside, center grip on the middle. Okay. Animation's good. Oh Okay, cannot jump on things. This isn't Mario. Alright, so that's what you're gonna do. Grab onto stuff. Gotcha. Can I get that? Nope. Why am I covered in berries? Oh, okay, I can level with those. Can I climb? Oh wow, they make that very difficult. I'm noticing a lot of like stutter with this one. Oh, you have to grab that stuff too, okay. Gotta watch those hitboxes, kids. Those guys that headbutt everything. Ground pound. Die, buddy. We're not making the mistake of dropping this time. Oh god, those are traps. I didn't even notice that last time. Word. Okay, guess I got an extra man. Or star, where the hell I am. I have 3 hit points. Come here, you dumbass bird. This at least is making more sense than some of the other games. GM! Okay, I guess I can hold on to that. How fast do I go? How fast can I go? Apparently like that fast. Alright. See if I can go actually shoot out instead. Star gone. Oh! Here. Holy shit. They're just like, surprise, we're here. What's going on? Nope. Not the best time for me to be finding that out. Nope, give me that star. I need it. So I figured this out. Okay, I guess I can't just say F this and go. Okay, cool. I hit him 3 times. Boom. Okay, they're gonna bomb. I really gotta work on timing on this. Really, why do I keep doing that late? height bonus. Okay. Whatever, we'll take it. Next area, Dark Woods. At least the little system's not warm or anything. Oh, fuck you, lizard. What the? Okay. This game is definitely unique. No run, it seems. Full of cheap shots. I guess I gotta pay attention to that. Oh, you little bastard. Rystar's dead. Grab onto any of these plants? Nope, okay. Out of the way. Oh, can't do it while they're driving. Got it. Genesis really did not have a chance to let you just kind of screw around these games, it seems. Eventually. Ah, there, got it. Yes, give me that star. I need that star desperately because I suck at playing. Okay, that was cute. This game is definitely cute, I'll give it that. I think it's what they were going for anyways. Nope, screw you, bird. Screw both you birds, you suck. I'm down to 1 star, you bastard. Get this in here. Screw it, not even gonna bother. Oh my god. I say we try a different game now. Though this one's a lot more fun. I actually think I could get used to this one and kind of play through it some more. No, those that watch this later on or are watching it when they pop in, I try on occasion to at least announce ahead of time when I'm going to stream. There's not really a set schedule, but you can find me over on Twitter as @Zenspath. I would say @Zenspath POD, but they took away my Twitter account, which is aggravating. But @Zenspath, you can still find me and talk to me on there as well. Let's try Vector Man 2. It's another platformer. Because this was kind of their answer to the pre-rendered graphics phase, like Donkey Kong Country really got into as well. Boy, that has questionably aged. Hit with a missile! Geronimo. Oh, okay. I'm actually able to control it. Got it. How come I'm not supposed to be going somewhere? That was not paying attention. Just out of my way down. I'm on the ground. Oh, interesting effect of the lighting. Hey, would you look at that? The C button is now jump, and A and B are both attack. That's also confusing. Oh, found a hole. Can I get explode? And what did I get? Charge me. Alright. Ha! She got just murdered by a bug. It's nature, kids. It'll kill you just by being there. Double jump, that's it. Ooh, laser. Now I wonder if I get to keep that laser. Something tells me it's going to go away, because that's just really powerful. Oh yeah, it's already giving me a warning that it's going away. You know, this one isn't too bad. I actually like this game. A bit tricky, but doesn't feel cheap. Controls are not bad. Graphically, it's really acceptable for a Genesis game. Back down on the same page? Nope, different page. Okay, those just go away. Thought I was just collecting them faster. Oh wow, interesting. Okay. I'm dead. I think part of my problem is that I'm rushing too fast. Of course, it's also a timed game, so who knows? React to the snails from behind. Got it. Damn, those things are annoying to shoot. Oh, that's cool looking. So you can't really stop and aim at an angle. You have to kind of do it while you're walking. Go straight to the credits. That's kind of cool. I guess you spend that much time making this game back then, you're going to want to show it off. Wait, you made it. Alright. Let's try one or two more games, and then I'll probably call it for the night. King Point, Revenge of Shinobi, that was a puzzle game. Super Hang On, that's always been a fun one. Get a little racing going on. Let's do Winning Run, because we know this won't be one. Feels kind of slow. So, I still love the NES and SNES Classic editions, which did really well. The Sega Genesis Mini, the first one, did a phenomenal job. The only weird thing about it in America was releasing with a 3-button controller instead of a 6-button, making that an optional you had to order from Japan, and theirs came with it, which is weird. But the Sega Genesis Mini 2 is hard to get a hold of right now because of the chip shortages. It's still only outputting at 720p. It does come with a 6-button controller, which is what it should come with anyways, even though a lot of these games don't really support it. They're either optional or none really require it. Some of them don't even recognize it. Like, they'll just make it automatically 3-button mode and that's it. But I would say it's still worth picking up if you never got a hold of the first one. It's kind of a lot of sequels and stuff to that with some Sega CD games. Oh, shit. Which I'm definitely going to try, like Sewer Shark is one game we're going to do tonight before we end for sure. And probably some Sylphied, get a few more of the Sega CD games. But, you know, if you're just getting this as a collectible because the mini console is cool as crap to get, honestly. Great to display, but fun to hook up and play really quickly for low power. You know, it's... Oh, it was like, it froze up, but it's game over. Okay, I was timed. I'm sitting here talking shit while it's, well, just talking shit. So let's take a look at some of these CD games. Which you can cycle through some of these. Release dates, recently played. CD first. Striker, Sylphied, Sewer Shark. I know Sewer Shark is horrible, but damn it, I want to play it. It just looks funny. This is one I always used to see advertisements for. Like, just back when the Sega CD came out, it was like, Sewer Shark, you should see this. It's amazing. And if I ever get to go through some of my collection of gaming magazines... Oh, this is funny. It's Sony ImageSoft. Mind you, by this point, the PlayStation was in the works. Pretty close to it. Digital Pictures. Digital Pictures, I think, is one of the companies I went and copied a CD to get the music off of from the Sega CD, and it had this weird, like, answering call recording on it. And then it would play some audio in reverse, which I'm going to flip over and see how it is. You know, I gotta say, this video quality is not as bad as I thought it would be on here. Like, yeah, it's grainy, but it's running well.
I hear they're putting you in with Ghost today. Now that's my main man. Greatest co-pilot to ever shoot the tubes. Give him your best stuff, and he'll keep you flying. Maybe all the way to Solar City, huh?
Pilot Valgo to launch Bay 7. Valgo to launch Bay 7.
Showtime. I'm Falco. You'll be hearing from me.
Showtime. Oh, wow. Acting sucks.
Welcome to the
Mine's
sewers,
not any
Brock.
better.
The guy you're replacing, he had that same tough guy smirk on his face that you do. Till he hit the wall. They're out there now blotting him up with handy wipes. But the ghost here, I always come back for more.
Okay.
Let's go, rookie!
So melodramatic.
Take a deep breath, rookie. Don't you love the smell of the sewers in the morning? They smell like victory. This here's the whole hog. I took her apart and I put her back together again. No matter what they taught you up at Top Rat, factory jobs ain't worth scrap. I got some stuff in her. It's not all strictly legal, but it just might keep you off the wall. Now until you earn a better one, your call sign, dog meat. All right.
Dog meat.
Climb aboard, dog meat.
Oh my god. People in these credits probably like, let's never talk about this again. We're just gonna pretend it never happened.
Crash and burn. The sewer jockeys come and here we
Okay,
go.
let's just skip over it.
Maybe you're good enough, dog meat. Let's find out. Freeway Junction's coming up. Stay cool. Don't let them freak you out. Catfish the whole hog. Something breathing down here. Uh-oh. I'm Radigator bait! The critters at 3, 2, 3.
What the hell?
Nav error! You're on course!
Hard to kill these things.
Remember your jump data!
Oh my god, this is so bad.
Get this crate on track, pencil neck!
Killing a few of these things. So bad.
We got some hungry critters bearing 9er, 12.
9er, 12. Pre-running video.
Wrong way, butt brain!
It's so hard to tell the difference. Like, how am I supposed to change direction?
Recharge coming up!
Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, I guess I died. That would just go straight to the credits. Oh my god. Alright, so Sewer Shark is horrible. Like, that game is terrible. Like, I don't think it'd be any better even if we could see what we're doing. Alright, let's try Sylpheed. Because this is the big draw of this portable, this mini system, not portable, mini, is the Sega CD games. Sadly, some really good ones from the Sega CD are missing. A couple that people really enjoy. But whatever, at least we got some. This thing was not cheap. It cost me a little over $100 to get it because we had to ship it from Japan. I'm hoping they'll have another run of it, maybe a little bit cheaper for people here to pick up instead of having to ship it from all the way out there. This is the American version. I mean, it's a U.S. rated box, which you can see how tiny this box is, and the list of all the games on there and stuff. So it's not like I have an import, because there is a different Japanese version as well. And this one's kind of U.S. and European. This looks kind of neat.
All systems green. See you later.
See you later.
Battle station, unidentified spacecraft inbound from Delta Line, Area 3. Number unknown, but increasing. All Sylphian squadrons scramble immediately. Repeat, scramble now. Squadron 207, scramble now.
Cool opening.
Rendezvous with squadrons 279 and 333. Take position for intercept mission.
Looks like it's kind of faux,
Not a drill. Repeat,
faux 3D effects here. I don't know if it's actual models. Looks like it could be, but the Sega CD couldn't really do too much of that, I don't think. But it could layer effects on top. Maybe that's how it would kind of pull it off. Oh, that's definitely sprite-based. Oh god, it's that kind of shooter. So there's no...
Missiles coming in fast. Intercept systems...
Once again, no function for the 3 buttons. Or the 6 buttons, so this is still just 3 buttons. Okay, I guess I can't destroy those. Okay, how come I can't hit these guys? What's going on? Oh, that's kind of neat.
Defense fleet destroyed. Still 8 in action.
It's hard to tell what's an item and what's something you have to kill sometimes. I'm just gonna hold on the shoot button as we do this here. Okay, I'll finally figure out how to get those. Come on, let's get through this first boss here. I think I pulled that crap. No shield, great. But at least get through the first one. Yes. Kind of a weird angle on this. Like, I don't like how... I get they're trying to do a 3D effect, but I'd rather just give me a vertical or even just a straight on. Give me one or the other. That half angle doesn't give... I don't know, just... I don't like how it feels.
Was network jacked by an
Alright, so let's back out of this. I'll save that for now. See what else we got before we end this. seeing the messages my wife sent, which is hilarious on Twitter. Robo Alest. Mansion of Hidden Souls. Classic horror adventure game. Yeah, let's check that out. Why not? Victokai Inc. Get over here, the Sega. Oh, this video looks really, really slow. Okay, in this argument, yes, I noticed the frame rate.
Wow.
This is one of the few times, I
Look how
guess.
it just floats in the air.
So carefree. So
Because
beautiful.
it can't render. What the hell?
Hey, let's follow it.
This is pre-done
See where
video.
it
Why is it
goes.
so slow?
Maybe it'll fly to the flower garden under the old elm tree.
No way. We better go home or we'll be in big trouble. Besides,
Oh, this
Grandma
is
told
funny.
us never to go anywhere near the elm tree. Remember, she said that there's ghosts there and that they turn us into
Grandma told
butterflies
us
if we stare
never
at
to
one
go
long
there.
enough, especially during a full moon.
You said there was no
Full
such thing
moon.
as ghosts. Besides, I think it would be fun to be a butterfly.
Hey, wait! No!
And she dies. I mean, this is a noticeable frame. We're running at like 2 frames a second here. God, is this actually how this game used to run, or did I break the system? I mean, the audio is correct, so I think I broke it. Please tell me the rest of this plays better than this. I'm guessing that's supposed to be the moon. I thought it was like a raindrop for a second or something with the reflection. But now it looks like the moon. Mansion of Hidden Souls. God, don't make me watch that again. No, go to the menu. Oh, that's at least faster. I'll take that. That's better.
Where am I? How can this be? There was no mansion here before.
Okay, that staircase in the middle, this feels like a really bad Spencer Mansion.
Quick, come over here!
For... Swear once if it makes a Jill sandwich joke. Okay, so you... Oh, wow. Turn, walk. Hit A to open. So this is a full-blown old-school adventure game, but you're walking around this weird building. Okay. Can I go into the hole? Or is it just nope. Okay. Can I do something to this plant? I don't know what's going on here. I kind of want to play this just to see what the hell's going on. Can I look at these pictures? I can't interact with anything. You just look at things. Okay, that's the first thing I've been able to actually do something to. Pick up the book. Okay, you gotta press A. Press up again to get to it. Okay, I got a book in my inventory. Let's go set it on fire. Music stops as you load in because it's got to stop the CD. Oh my god, I would hear so much loading. Can you imagine how slow this would be with actual loading times? It'd be horrific. So you could just bump him into the wall. Boom. This is so bad. So bad. I love it. Dude, just open the door. Can I not get it? Whatever. Alright, so I'm going to save this and try something else real quick. That's one I have to try out later just to see how bad it is. Alright, so one last game, then I'm going to call it because we're at an hour and a half. What else we got here? Herzog's Way. Oculus. Resistance. Excuse me. Viewpoint. Let's try Echo the Dolphin. That was 1993. Tides of Time 94. Night Striker. Okay, Giant Tajo brings us this high-speed 3D shooter, power the inner gray, and fly through 21 stages to bring justice to a city of the near future. Features background music swapping exclusive to the Sega Mega CD version. 92 for Night Trap. That's another weird one. Early 1990s were a really bad time about full motion video games. They were never good. Ever. I think Myst may have been... Yeah, I want to try Fatal Fury 2 just to see. That'll be the one we end the night on. See if King's in here. It's one of my characters I like to use. She's awesome. Again. Legendary. Men return.
Fatal Fury 2!
Fatal Fury 2. Big Bear, Terry, Andy, Joe, and Kip. Wait, really? Not what I was hoping for. I was really hoping to get King in here, but I guess he wasn't in this one. Punch, we got King. Oh, is this the whole forward-backwards thing? Dodge that way. Alright, this back and forth is a mess. Oh, good dodge. And kick in the face with it. Time out before I get through this. There we go. 6 seconds left to spare. So this version is rough.
Round 2, fight!
I want to was on the Super Nintendo. I remember there was King of Fighters. I got, yeah, Fatal Fury. I guess she wouldn't have been in this one. This would have a Terry Bogard though. And more than likely, this is not going to have anything for those instructions, so yeah. Alright, so, in summary, a whole bunch of games on the Sega Genesis Mini 2 system. Brilliant 16-bit graphics, which is great. How many games does it say once more on here? 60 classic and bonus titles. So there's a couple different ones that were previously never released. Devil and Pie, Fantasy Zone, Spatter, Space Harrier 2, Star Mobile, Super Locomotive, and Versus Puyo Puyo Sun are the new and modified versions that were ported, along with a handful of Sega CD games and some more Genesis ones. So it's worth getting for some fun, just kind of messing with. Not completely necessary, especially with all the Genesis collections that are out there and other things. But, you know, hey, if you're looking to collect, this is not a bad thing to get. And it's also, I think the first one's probably more fun for kids to play, to be honest with you. But this one could, you know, pique someone's interest. Oh, this is an RPG here, okay. Oh no, this is a tactical RPG. Good lord, is this like a Fire Emblem? Yeah, sure, we'll give him that. Give him some soldiers. Okay, guess there's not really enough. Whatever. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. So, once again, take a look at this. If you're watching this later on, you can watch when I'm playing live over at twitch.tv/Zenspath. Or if you're watching this ever with the actual streams, you can find these videos over at youtube.com/ZenspathCom. You can also find me on Twitter at Zenspath. And then also take a look on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts, anywhere you actually get podcasts from for the Zenspath 4-button podcast that I host. Right now, it's usually been just me going in there kind of talking about the news. We've also brought back the blog over at Zenspath.com where I'm writing about game collecting, the different aspects of it, things like that. But I've been Jeremy Powers, and we will talk to you later. Peace.